All right, so good morning from my side. It's a real honor to be here today at DLD in New York and have a chance to sit down with Dirk and talk a little bit about the Hyperloop. We thought maybe before we started with the question and answers, we could start with a short video from Dirk. So if you want to start the video.
America's always been a nation of doers. We build things, we take risks, and we believe that if you have a good idea and are willing to work hard enough, you can turn that idea into a successful business.
Billionaire philanthropist Elon Musk has hinted at a new high-speed transport system that could put planes and trains out of business.
I have a name for it, which is called the Hyperloop.
So what's Hyperloop? Mr. Musk's plan: move people using a massive vacuum tube combined with a magnetic levitation system. Kind of like a Jetsons tunnel?
It's something like that, yeah.
Here's how he teased the idea in May at an All Things D conference.
It's a cross between a Concorde and a railgun.
It's called the Hyperloop. It's a system of giant suspended tubes. Riding within are capsules carrying people or freight travelling on cushions of air at speeds of up to 1,200 k's per hour, or roughly 1 kilometre every 3 seconds.
A tube that would be on pillars from Los Angeles to San Francisco, and inside there would be capsule cars that would be rocketed forward up to 700 miles an hour, and that there would be a fan on the front. Elon Musk basically says that this is the way of the future.
How would you like something that can never crash? It is immune to weather. It goes 3 or 4 times faster than the sort of bullet train, and it would cost you much less than an air ticket.
It will only cost to build this $6 or $7 billion. Compare that to the $65 billion for the current high-speed rail plans for California. He believes this is a viable, valuable alternative for mass transit between these two destinations.
Could something like the Hyperloop actually be the answer to super-fast, environmentally friendly, high-speed travel between our busiest cities? So the gauntlet has been thrown down. A design document for a whole new, super-cool way to travel. The only thing now, will someone pick it up and make the Hyperloop a reality?
There are some companies that are forming to try to make the Hyperloop happen, and I encourage them. I think that's great.
Tesla founder Elon Musk proposed this new technology called Hyperloop, and it's being developed right now in Playa Vista, here in this hangar behind me.
The only resistance would be the air in front of the capsule, which we move to the back by using a compressor.
Company Hyperloop has teamed up with the students to create this tube technology that's designed to connect cities up to 400 miles apart.
Dirk Ahlborn says it's safer and more efficient than the railroad.
Well, the system is completely computerized. So you optimize the system, and then you actually have the humans to monitor it. In railroads, most accidents were all human factors. Plus, a lot of the derailments are actually happened because something's on the track. So we're in a closed system. We're completely managed by a computer system. There's no human factor that can actually create those issues. We actually plan on seeing the first Hyperloop very, very soon starting.
Can you imagine and walk us through what it might be like to travel at the speed of sound?
It's not going to be much different than sitting in an airplane, actually. Obviously, for us, it's very important to make it as good of an experience as possible. So this is an independent organization that has formed. We have 170 engineers, scientists, and really great professionals with amazing backgrounds.
The race is on. Elon Musk's vision for a high-speed passenger pods known as the Hyperloop is one step closer to becoming reality this morning. One of the known companies competing to capitalize on Musk's proposal, announcing today it has struck a deal with landowners in Central California to build the first full-scale Hyperloop along a 5-mile stretch along I-5, with construction set to begin in 2016.
Let's bring in Dirk Albarn, who is the man who runs the Hyperloop Transportation Technologies team, which is announcing this deal with Quay Valley, California. Dirk, tell me about this deal and really when you expect this Hyperloop, this 5-mile stretch, to be finished.
Quay Valley is supposed to be breaking ground beginning of 2016. That's when we will start working on our development. So We will be starting ground at the same time. At this moment, we expect to be done by 2018.
Hyperloop now appears one step closer to reality. Starting next year, that theory will turn into a groundbreaking in Quay Valley, Kings County off of I-5. A developer there has just committed a big chunk of his private land toward the project. It's a 5-mile loop that would take visitors through a planned entertainment district.
There's going to be a test track. Elon Musk has announced that he's going to build a small-scale test track. It's a necessary step for us to be building a full-scale version, and Quay Valley is a sustainable model town of the 21st century, so it's a perfect fit. They're expecting over 10 million visitors per year, so we will actually be able to generate revenues very, very fast.
The company plans to go public later this year.
We want to do a public offering. We want to give our community that's supporting us the possibility to own parts of the company. We want to make sure that the people that have been helping building the company and this technology are able to participate in the investment, in the fundraising, and the upside of the company.
With their contributions to Hyperloop, these students from around the world now have stock options in the company. But they say they're not in it for the money.
As a student, I start to feel like I'm in part of some great career that might turn to work.
Will the Hyperloop kill the railroad?
The Hyperloop is going to do to the US what the railroads did in the 1800s. So it will change the way we live. It's possible today, it's based on existing technologies, and it's the right time, it's the right moment to finally get something doing like this.
Is it visionary? In 30 years' time, will you and I be sitting on our rocking chairs going, well, we talked about it then, and he did it?
So you think this is possible? This is not just...
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah.
For all those who said this is just a neat little thing to draw on a cocktail napkin, these guys are saying it will become reality.
Okay, wow. So I think we can just start on a few clips that we just saw and maybe leapfrog from there. One of the things that I think is really special about your company and really unique is this crowdsourced based company, that the people that you have there, this team of nearly 500 people, are working and investing their time for stock options, in exchange for stock options. What I'd be interested to know is what's motivating these people? Is it really the idea, the stock options, or Elon Musk? And with Elon Musk, how involved is he today in this project? How is he participating, and what's his involvement?
So, so first of all, the idea is not really an Elon Musk idea. We have actually, I think the first time was Jules Verne's son who mentioned traveling inside a tube. Actually in New York, there was, in 1860, there was a pneumatic subway. So the first patent for a train inside a vacuum tube was back in 1904. So it has been around for many, many times. The US, in the 60s, they had a program where they basically built 2 prototypes. In Switzerland, there was a project called Swiss Metro, trying to achieve all these things. I mean, the Jetsons had the same idea, the Simpsons, even them. So all these attempts kind of failed. And they failed because it's very, very difficult. It's a very large project. It's infrastructure. If you're trying to do it in a country, even like America, it might take you 20 years. So for us, it was very clear that what we needed to do is we had to create a movement. So when Elon presented the project back in August of 2013, he said he thinks this is a great idea. He was too busy with Tesla and SpaceX. He wanted someone else to pick it up. So we did. We didn't even know, is this possible or not? The motivations of the people that are participating, I think, most of them really want to make a difference. They want to do something, be part of something in their life. So it's about passion. I'm sure there's some that, like the fact that it's an Elon Musk project, and for sure it helped initially to gain a lot of traction. But a lot of the team members that we have are actually people that we meet. And we talk about what we do and our goals, because our goal is not only to have a capsule levitate inside a tube. What we really do is we're trying to, make travel suck less. So we tried to fix public transportation. Public transportation all over the world is losing money. So any metro, any train in the world is actually financed by government subsidies. Germany, I think there's a lot of Germans are here, there's 5 billion euros per year in the German household budget for subventions just for transportation. The New York Metro, which is probably one of the most used one, loses 82 cents per passenger. So $2.2 billion. So everybody on our team is motivated by changing the world, fixing what's wrong today with public transportation, what's wrong today with traveling, and making it fun again and making it something that works.
Okay, let's stick on this point because you just hit a part that's very close to my heart, which is making travel suck less. So at your South by talk this year, you mentioned some of your motivations for the company, specifically some of the visions on how you want to make travel suck less. And 3 of these motivations included congestion, using the example of LA, pollution, using the example of 50 million people living in Beijing, and parking. These are all topics that we're working on as well, urban mobility. And the topics that we're looking at that can help address these concerns include car sharing, ride sharing, electric mobility, plus autonomous driving, plus more intermodal solutions such as biking. Can you explain to me a little bit more on what role Hyperloop, this transportation that moves at 1,200 kilometers per hour, is going to address in our cities, in our urban mobility challenges?
So there's a misconception, right? So speed is one of the advantages, but it's not the only one. So the economy aspect, so actually building something that makes economic sense, that has a business model behind it, is in my personal opinion much more important. So we use alternative energy to produce more energy than we're actually using in the system, which brings our operational costs to a very, very low point. And allows us to be profitable with still a very decent ticket price, and actually opens up the door to other discussions, because now you can think about, are there other business models? And when we go out, normally it's not about telling people what we're doing, it's more about trying to get input from people about, how can we achieve those things? Because what we do is innovation, so we identify the problems, and then we have over 30,000 people in our community that crowdsource with us, that give us their inputs, that show us technologies, so maybe the technologies that are at Fraunhofer, that we can use in our system to make just a better product. So it's all about questioning everything, questioning things from, do we need a ticket, right? Or are there better ways to monetize? Do we need pylons, or better, do we have to build the pylons this way, or is there a way that we can actually monetize on the pylons, make them more attractive to the people that have to put them on their land? So solving all these questions and, starting to question them from the beginning.
Okay, on this question, with the proposal of building the Hyperloop between San Francisco and LA, a 30-minute trip costs $30. It's very attractive. So it sounds like you have a pretty good business model for this use case. What's also interesting to me is what's happening in our developing countries. So what are the big challenges that we're facing in India, for example, where it's not just inner city traffic, but it's also city-to-city mobility? In Delhi, there's 11 million people. In India, there's 1.3 billion people. And they literally just can't get from city to city like we can today with our airports going from San Francisco to LA. What's important there also is that it's efficient but also affordable. Are you guys also considering some different types of business models for putting this into developing countries where you could really make a difference for these people?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are talking to India. We are talking in Asia. We're looking a lot at Africa. I actually think, for example, Africa is a continent with amazing resources. So the moment that you're actually connecting Africa in a way that the Hyperloop could, I think the potentials are just immense. We signed an agreement with the country of Slovakia, so not a developing country, but we're talking about Eastern Europe. And you know, at the end, the vision is to connect, for example, Bratislava to Vienna, Bratislava to Budapest. And I think it's very interesting when you look at the state we are in the European Union right now to work on a project that actually brings Europe closer together. So I think that's exciting. And as a European, I'm obviously happy that some of the European countries are taking a very innovative approach to approaching a new mode of transportation, a new means.
Okay. One topic that's often what I hear from your side is that the topic of cost is always coming up. I'd just like to understand it a little bit more. So the proposal for San Francisco to LA is something between 6 and 10 billion for the Hyperloop, and this was compared to a high rail train, which is 65 billion. And I'm not a train expert, but when I think of a train, I just think of two steel tracks, really developed technology. And when I think of the Hyperloop, I'm thinking of a pressurized cabin, high quality materials, these pythons that need to detect earthquakes, etc. I know that you guys have the advantage that perhaps there's less accidents or no accidents. Perhaps there's little maintenance with the Hyperloop as compared to a traditional train. But is there something else that's causing or making up for this 1/10 cost differential?
Yeah, so we're actually probably not looking as much LA to San Francisco as we do look at everything else, because there is this big project. So that's kind of how it all started, and it was proposed as an alternative. So we use it as an example when we explain things. The California high-speed train, yes, it's $68 billion. In general, I mean, first of all, you're right. Trains are definitely a proven technology. It hasn't changed for over 100 years. So, but the question is, can we do better, right? And if you really think about the Hyperloop, so first of all, it's not necessarily that we have to detect earthquakes. We're just safer in case of an earthquake because we're not on the ground. We're on pylons, so we can integrate the latest construction methods. So, you know, compensation for earthquakes, earthquake dampers, in order to compensate for that, which you can't do if you're on the ground. The advantages are you don't cut through the land, so you have to also acquire less land, which is an important part. You still get from one side to the other. The overall structure is just simpler. It's produced in a way that you can optimize cost. It's smaller. So the question is, can we build pylons? I think, yes, we can. Can we build tubes? Yes, we can. Can we create a low-pressure environment inside those tubes at an affordable price? And yes, we can. Actually, the company that did the CERN Hadron Collider, Oerlikon Leibold, is part of our team, so we have that expertise. And the rest, if you want, so is actually existing technology. You know, your airplanes go up into high pressure, we go into space, we can create a cabin, a pressure-tight cabin. So, and when we talk about levitation and propulsion technology, there are systems out there that have been running for many, many years. The system that we are adopting was developed by actually one of the national research centers over many years, hasn't really been used in this application, but it's something proven for quite some time.
I guess we're nearly done, but I think maybe there's some people that are here today in the next 2 days that would be also interested in starting a company that's crowdsourced. So maybe you could just end with telling us what are some of the advantages or the challenges of being a crowdsourced company, and specifically for Hyperloop, what are some of your accelerators?
So personally, I think, again, I mean, we realized that what we had to build was a movement, and I think every company should be a movement, right? Today, you have the internet to start companies. And if you've really thought about what we're doing, I mean, we're using the internet for everything. It's, you get your dry cleaning, you buy your groceries, you find your boyfriend, girlfriend online. But when it comes to starting a company, it's still you with your friend and a beer in a bar. By using the internet and finding people that are passionate about the same things you are, you can work with the best people all across the globe. and you can make your company into a movement. You can listen to your customers. You can find people that might be your future customers, and you can just build a better company. Because if you have 500 or 1,000 people that give you their honest opinions, their ideas, their contacts, it helps you a lot. So as an example for us, I got a message on Facebook, for example, of someone who wanted to introduce us the president of Bulgaria. So, so I went to Bulgaria, met this guy, and met the president, right? So, and these are just people that are inside the communities that want to make the same thing happening that we want to make happen. So.
Great. Thanks so much for the fireside chat. It was great hearing a little bit more about Hyperloop, and we'll keep watching.
Thank you.